Hi, it's Eric, and here is Cello Every Darn Day, or Every Damn Day, for Wednesday, September 13, 2017. Right below in the comments, you'll see that I've reposted a fantastic video of a young man playing the second movement of the Sonata in E major by FRANCOEUR, or maybe not by FRANCOEUR. There's evidently some doubt as to who actually wrote it, but who wrote it if it wasn't the great French violin virtuoso and composer and conductor Francois Francoeur. Nobody seems to know, but some people are convinced at least it wasn't him. The piece starts like this. Et cetera, et cetera. I had kind of forgotten about this piece, which was a huge piece in my life when I was in high school. I first heard it. Dennis Brott came to be the cello teacher at the North Carolina School of the Arts, where I had my last 2 years of high school. And on the very first faculty recital he played this piece, and I was so blown away with it. And that became a big aspirational piece. And I finally worked on it, I think, in my freshman year of college with Dennis, and it was so exciting to finally get to play that piece. Then Dennis left the School of the Arts, and I went on to the Juilliard School, where I got to study with Leonard Rose. And I remember, just as Mr. Rose would say, practice your ass off. I practiced my ass off on that piece and got pretty good at it. And then I went on and I was studying at the Peabody Conservatory with Stephen Cates, and I played it a lot there in my Baltimore days. I had a student who was a physician at the Johns Hopkins Hospital and maybe taught at the medical school. He was an adult beginner, and one day he asked me to play something, and so I played this movement. As fast as I could, because I thought he wanted to know if I was good enough for him to study with him. So I felt like I have to impress this guy. And of course, I was just projecting all my own insecurities in that. He stopped taking lessons. I think he probably called me and said, Eric, I'm really busy at the hospital and blah, blah, blah. I don't have time to practice. A couple years later, I became friends with somebody who was friends with Dr. John, as I'll call him for this video, and who told me that John had just wanted to hear something really simple. Maybe if I played French folk song from the Suzuki books, he just wanted to hear a nice cello sound and something that he could aspire to. And when he heard my Bat Out of Hell playing, he said, "Oh man, there's no way I'll ever be able to do that," and he stopped playing. I really hope that if he really wanted to play cello, he found another teacher who was not an arrogant, confused late teenager or early 20s guy, and who was able to help him on his path. And when I look back at that, I take a really important lesson, which is that when we're in a situation where we're teaching somebody, coaching somebody, guiding something, it's got to be about them and their needs. At that time in my life, I really couldn't see what his needs were, because I was so full of myself, and that may not be uncommon among aspiring virtuosos who are 20 or 21 years old. So I'll give myself a break, but I do hope that John found another guide with the cello, and that I'm a much better guide now, especially for adult amateurs. I also played this piece with my mom. My mom was the piano professor at the University of Tampa for over 30 years. She's the person who got me to play the cello in the first place. She was my, always there accompanist. And we had this thing where, again, I'm playing this stuff, and we get to the middle, and blah, 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 blah. I'm playing it in yours, so it's just sloppy. And she wasn't with me. I said, "Mom, you're not with me. You're not staying steady." And she said, "Honey, I think, you're not steady. Your tempo is, kind of all over the place. It's really hard for me to know, when to play." And I was greatly offended by this. And I said, no, 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 I am steady. It's not you, because I was sure I was steady. It didn't seem to me like I was slowing down and speeding up, and of course it never does. And so we put on the metronome, and either the metronome was slowing down and speeding up, and somehow taking drugs and wasn't working right, or it was me. And of course I realized that it was me and that I was being an idiot, and I apologized to my mom, and I went and I practiced it with the metronome. So those were the lessons I took from this. I am going to relearn this piece because seeing this wonderful video that's down there reminds me how much fun it is. I don't care who wrote it, and especially since it's of dubious authorship. Playing it on a modern cello with a piano and somewhat romantically, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So I am glad I got to share these stories with you. I'm making a video where I'm playing and talking about the cello every day. I love the cello. I love playing it. I love talking about it. And I'll see you tomorrow.